There's an old saying among farmers, we live as if we'll die tomorrow, farm as if we'll live forever. Most dairy farmers live and work on their farm, so it's important to them to protect the land, water, and air for their families, surrounding communities, and for future generations. Did you know environmental practices on all dairy farms are tightly regulated by both federal and state agencies? While requirements vary from state to state, most dairy farmers consistently meet or exceed these regulations. Hi, I'm Katie Kaufman, your host for The American Dairy. Using the latest scientific research, farmers boost efficiency and take care of their animals and surroundings.
Dairymen have to be environmental stewards. One, they live on the land. Most dairymen are very close by the dairy, if not living right on the dairy. And so they obviously do not want to be bad stewards of the land because they have to utilize that land also for bringing in forages for the cows. And so they want to make sure that land is good so that it grows a good crop so that they can bring that crop in and feed the animals. The manure is not something forgot about. They're under tight scrutiny and have to make sure through environmental regulations that they do all the right things. And so they're always checked upon, and they make sure themselves that they capture all the waste off of these dairies so that they can reutilize those important nutrients, those natural nutrients, if you will, back on the crops to grow a proper feed source to then bring back to the dairy. Many dairy operations are looking to utilize the waste or the manure to produce bioenergy as well. So there's other technologies that we can also utilize that if we have leftover that doesn't go on the land to provide the crops, then maybe we can also use it to produce energy to power electricity in our homes.
Technologies like digesters reduce manure odor. Energy-saving methods are used for milking and cooling the milk, and manure recycling plants protect soil and water resources. Even something as simple as upgraded lighting can help conserve lots of energy. It's all a part of making farms sustainable for the future. Join us today and see the green side of dairy.
When you think about ways to help protect the environment, we often think of simple tasks like recycling. On a dairy farm, recycling just comes naturally from water to manure.
So producers have always been a part of the green movement. Even though it's something that maybe has come along the last few years, we've been green for a long time and produce a really rich green substance such as the manure that comes from these dairy animals that we can utilize for not only nutrients on a crop, but also for anaerobic digestion. So being able to capture the manure and utilize that manure and the methane that comes off that manure as an energy source to power our homes is really important. It could also provide another revenue for the dairy, but also cheaper electricity for you and I. A lot of producers make compost. So they put their manure along with whatever comes off that dairy into a pile, allow it to sit for a certain length of time to get hot enough to get rid of a lot of the bacteria and a lot of bad things that might be in that manure, and then utilize it to be put onto a person's yard, say in the city that needs some compost, or somebody wants to pot flowers. You know, a lot of that compost could come right here that's used on the dairy farm.
All the strategic planning that we do with feeding them, the facility design, the manure separation systems, the irrigation, the lateral lines that we send miles away from the dairy to get to farther fields that need that water. Yes, it's a never-ending strategic planning session in my own mind on how to optimize that circle of events that go on at every facet of the dairy, both the milking of the cow, the employee management, the manure management, the nutrient management, the cow side practices, the agronomics of the field, and then you have the whole business end of it too. We're still trying to be profitable while we're doing this. And so it's a full set of challenges to us, especially in the last few years. The economy's been tough with this, so but we just do the best we can and always look to find newer, more innovative ways to accomplish the goal.
Dairy cows need to drink plenty of clean water to stay healthy and to produce quality milk, so farmers take water protection and conservation practices seriously. The proper recycling of manure plays a central role in protecting nearby lakes, rivers, and streams. Farmers store manure and spread it on their crop fields that take into account the types of soil found on the farm, the terrain of the fields, and the amount of nutrients needed by the crops. Other water protection measures include building fences along streams and planting trees along rivers. The water used on dairies is recycled several times a day to wash barn alleys and irrigate the fields. Applying recycled manure to crops helps increase the water holding capacity by 20% in soil, which reduces irrigation needs.
When we apply the water, we want to be able to apply the water that has that we can apply at the levels that we need. So one of the things we really try to do is process that water and pull out as many of the solids as possible from that water, and so that we can isolate the solids stream and the water stream, as well as some of the specific nutrients. Phosphorus is one of our challenging nutrients on how to send it to the right direction. So we process our water in such a way that we extract as much of that phosphorus away from the water so we can go where we want with that water to the certain fields. So we're able to fraction out that manure stream from the cows into about 3 or 4 different fractions of higher solids, lower solids, higher phosphorus, higher nitrogen, and then mostly water streams so that we can allocate them where they need to go.
Dairy farms follow detailed manure recycling plans that continually reflect new technologies. In fact, every farm must abide by clean water laws to minimize potential runoff from their operations. Certified nutrient management plans take into account the types of farm soil, field terrains, soil moisture levels, and crop nutrient amounts when spreading manure. Thanks to state-of-the-art manure handling equipment, storage facilities, and application processes, it's easy for farmers to get proper nutrients to the soil while protecting against runoff and reducing air emissions. One way farmers handle manure is through modern mechanical separators, which separate the solids in manure from the liquid portion. The solids can be directly applied to cropland or composted and sold as organic fertilizer. Another high priority for dairies is storing the solid and liquid manure until weather conditions are right for fertilizing the land. Many farmers use progressive lagoons to store and naturally treat the manure. In a lagoon, solids settle to the bottom and bacteria and microorganisms break down the manure, resulting in a nutrient-rich wastewater with few odors.